Hey guys, back at from a pad here. Today, we're going to be talking about soil tests, getting soil tests, and getting your water tested in your garden. So, as most of you know, this year and going forward, I'm all about having the very healthiest, the best soil, the healthiest soil, because the healthiest soil means healthy plants, and which means healthy and nutritious fruit. So to begin, before I started going out and buying a whole bunch of fertilizers, I got my soil tested and my water tested by the University of Florida. You can actually do it if it depending on where you live. You probably have agencies or IFAS is in your area. In Florida, it's done through the University of Florida. So I had them come out and test my soil and test my water, and I was a little bit surprised. Overall, my water was very good, and of course, I have well water, so that's groundwater. It's important to get your water tested because, especially if you're closer to the ocean or in certain communities, you might have a very high salt level, and that can affect your plants. So my water was good. For my soil, I was high in a couple things. I was high in phosphorus and magnesium and low in potassium. And you may say, oh, it's great that you're high in phosphorus, because phosphorus, as you guys know, is what affects the flowering and affects the root development. And of course, if you have good flowers, good flowering and good root development, that's going to give you a lot of fruit. However, if you're high in phosphorus, that actually, or high in any of these minerals, it can actually affect other minerals. So you might be great in one level, but I think high phosphorus ties up zinc and it ties up iron. I'll put it on the screen, I'm not sure. But almost every one of the minerals, guys, if it's high for one mineral, it causes other minerals not to be able to be picked up properly. So it's really important to have balanced soil. Wait, I just realized my magnesium is high and my potassium is low, and magnesium ties up potassium. So right here on this sheet is a perfect example why it's important to keep your minerals in balance. So I had my soil tested by the University of Florida. I have the results here and I'm going to show you guys. But the great thing is they don't just tell you what's wrong, but they tell you how to fix it. So I'm going to go over my soil results real quick, and I'm going to tell you what they recommended for me to fix it. Then we're going to go ahead and we're going to fix it together. As you can see, they tested several different things. First, they tested the pH of my water, and then they tested for all these different minerals: sulfur, copper, manganese, zinc, and boron. And what they do, I think I'm also low in manganese. But for my recommendation, they didn't recommend that I do anything for the manganese. They just recommend that I get phosphorus in the soil. So let's see what their recommendation is. So they said that my soil pH is fine, but the levels of phosphorus and magnesium are high and the potassium is low. So they didn't mention, oh yeah, so they did mention that the minor elements, copper, manganese, zinc, and boron were also tested. Copper level is fine, manganese is low, zinc is high, and the boron level is fine. So my fertilizer recommendation calls for nitrogen and potassium. So guys, you notice that it didn't say anything about my nitrogen being low, and that's because nitrogen doesn't really stay in the soil. Nitrogen washes off very readily. So when you add your blood meals or anything that is high in nitrogen, it doesn't stay in the soil very long. Whatever gets, like if you lightly water after, the roots pick up what it can, and then everything else washes off. And that's why you have to really be careful using a ton of nitrogen all the time, because that can end up washing off. And like here in Brevard County, that ends up in the Indian River Lagoon, and wherever you are, that can end up in your lagoons and your streams. So you have to really be careful. So for the recommendation there, they told me where I can get the stuff at Ace. They're recommended for me to go to Ace or Tractor Supply and get Turf Nurture or Epsoma fertilizer, and they told me exactly what it is. You see, it says if I purchase 1006, I have to use it at a rate of 10 pounds per thousand. If I purchase 805, it's 12.5 pounds per thousand. So it gives me the different options. I think I ended up buying turf nurture. I have to go and see what I bought. And that's 1507. 15 means it's 15 parts nitrogen, 0 means no phosphorus, because remember I'm high in phosphorus, and then 7 means it's 7 parts potassium. So we're gonna go ahead. I'm gonna show you how we're gonna apply this, and we're gonna go ahead and start. So I'm gonna fertilize my entire garden, and that's gonna help to balance. Let me show you how we're gonna do this. So it says for turf nurture with 1507, the fertilizer can be ordered online and shipped. That fertilizer should be applied at a rate of 6.5 pounds to 1,000 square feet. So you have to be very careful, guys. You can't just go in and just put a ton. You have to kind of put it according to recommendation, because as I said, too much of one fertilizer affects other too much of one mineral does affect other minerals, and you can be using more and more of a mineral and wondering why your plants are struggling or dying, and that's because it's not balanced. So you have to keep it in a balance. So let's go ahead and get to fertilizing. It's always best to fertilize right before rain, or if you have a sprinkler system, of course, again, let's go ahead and fertilize. I do have a sprinkler system, but I kind of like to fertilize right before rain. We were having quite a bit of rain this week, so I wanted to wait until the heavy rain was past. I didn't want to, you don't want to fertilize right before really, really heavy rains, because that can actually cause the fertilizer to run off. And we don't want to waste our fertilizer. So we want to make sure that we don't fertilize right before a heavy rain. Right, girls? Right, girls? They agree. So this is the one they recommended, Turf Nurture. This is one that I bought out of the recommendations, and it is 1507. And this is the one they said spread at a rate of 6.5 pounds per 1,000 square feet. So I'll show you how we determine that. I'm using this little spreader that I got at either Home Depot or Lowe's. You can get this all around. It's a broadcast spreader, and I'm setting the dial to 6.5, because I'm supposed to spread this at a rate of 6.5 pounds per 1,000 square feet. So I'm gonna add it, and it's gonna spread just the right amount of fertilizer. So the way it works, guys, you put it on the grass first, and then you pull this trigger right here as you walk. So you don't just stand one place and pull it. You walk while you pull it, and it's gonna release the granules below it. And guys, I didn't mention, but this is organic, so you just make sure you tell them that you only want organic products if you whoever you ask. All right, so I'm pulling it, and then you can see below it, you can see the granules are dropping. See that? All right, so I'm just gonna go ahead and walk up and down, and I have a lot of ground to cover, guys, and I'm gonna have to refill, because this is definitely way more than 1,000 square feet. So I'm gonna spread this out, and I'll be right back. Just reloaded. That went really fast in the front yard. I don't think I got a full coverage, but since the majority of my food is in the backyard, let's go do the backyard, and if any's left over, then I'll come back and do a pass over the front yard again. All right, guys, that's it. I got to cover all the back, so I didn't get to cover by the fruit trees in the front, so I'm gonna do that, and we'll wrap it up. Hope you learned something new with this video. If the two takeaways is, before you buy a ton of fertilizer, find out what fertilizer your plant really needs. You may think it needs one thing, but it might have enough of that thing, but something else is tying it up. So find out what you need before you go buying fertilizer. I personally have made a mistake of buying a lot of bone meal. I throw bone meal every time. I used to throw bone meal every time, like I'm planting anything that requires flowers or fruit. And now I know I already have too much, a whole lot of phosphorus. No need for me to add any more bone meal. You might think you want some yummy mangoes, you want some fruit, so add bone meal. But if you already have phosphorus, you don't need it, guys. Anyway, hope this video helped. So go on out there, get your soil test, get your water tested. You might be doing everything right, but your plants just aren't growing. They just are stunted. That could be because of the water, salinity in the water. You know, so if we want our plants to grow well, it's a suggestion to reach out to the IFAS in your county and see if they can do a soil and water test for you. All right, guys, hope you enjoyed this video. Hope you learned something. Till next time, bye now. Gonna go finish up and get inside before the rain starts.